a Star Wars movie workshop for our teachers on a different topic, but today we will take Kung Fu Panda near the end. Now, let's start as usual, opening prayers, and then we will chant together verse number 1, and then verse number 2 we will do lead and repeat style, and then chant again together. So we're now picking up the verses as we go along. So with that, Om Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Saha Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti 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 Vakraturna Mahakaya Surya Koti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kuru Me Deva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada Saraswati Namastubhyam Varade Kamarupini Vidyarambham Karishyami Siddhir Bhavatu Me Sada Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha Gurureva Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. So now let's chant the first verse together. Vedo nityam adhiyatam tadudidam karma svanushtiyatam tene shasya vidhiyatam apachitihi kamye matistyajyatam papogaf paridhuyatam bhavasukhe doshonusandhiyatam Atmecha vyavasiyatam nijagrahat turnam vinirkamyatam. Now for verse number 2, we will break it down into small pieces as we learn this new one. Sangat satsu vidhiyatam bhagavato Bhaktir dridadhiyatam Shantyadif parichiyatam Dridataram Karmashu santyajyatam Sadvidvanupasrip Sadvidvanupasripyatam Pratidhinam Tatpaduka sevyatam Brahmaikaksaramarthyatam Brahmaikaksaramarthyatam Shruti Shiro Vakyam Samakarnyatam. So now we'll chant this together. Sangat satsu vidhiyatam bhagavato bhaktir dridhadhiyatam shantyadif parichiyatam dridataram karmashu santyajyatam sadvidvanupasripyatam pratidhinam Tatpaduka sevyatam Brahmaikaksaramarthyatam Shruti Shiro Vakyam Samakarnyatam. So we had seen that verse 1 and 2 covers Brahmacharya Ashrama and Grahastha Ashrama. We know that Brahmacharya Ashrama has come to a completion when we have complete understanding of what it is that we need to do. Oftentimes we come to mission and saying, I don't know what the right thing to do is, I need guidance. Honestly, Brahmacharya Ashrama, we spent such good time and effort that we have a good understanding. So for the lack of the original style of brahmacharya ashrama, we give, the knowledge as much as we can in its original form as we can. So we know that we've studied the Vedas well when we have clarity on what it is I need to do. Whenever it's shaky, we come back to the Shastras. Okay, what would the Shastras tell me? What is dharma? What is adharma? What is karma yoga? What do I have to do? Come back, hit the books, learn, and then go back and apply it. So that clarity defines the end of brahmacharya ashram. What defines the completion of grahastha ashram? Chitta shuddhi. Chitta shuddhi. Shuddhi means purity. Purity from the constant naggingness of desires. I want this, I want that. If I don't have it, I can't sit still. All the repercussions happen because desires is something that hasn't yet been managed. So what do? We perform our duties as necessary. We channelize our desires through dharma so that we can outgrow it. And most importantly, we chew on the world thoroughly and ask, is this where I'm getting my permanent happiness from? Chew it and really find that conviction, and I'm ready to spit out the world. It doesn't have it. That is my conviction. Not that the Shastras are telling me. I know for a fact that I'm not gaining what I want through the world. That level of experience and maturity comes to the culmination of grahastha ashrama. This is when I've known I've matured by performing my duties in grahastha. So chitta shuddhi is where we end up at the end. Then we started to see what are the duties of the vanaprastha. Vanaprastha. Here we had seen nija grihat turnam vinirgamyatam. As soon as I have graduated, I leave my home. Why? Because home is not just the physical home, it's the home of comforts. They're no longer comfortable because they're not giving me the happiness. Why would I continue to find them as comforts? So I let go of all of these things. Turnam vinirgamyatam. As quickly that realization happens, that quickly I will let go of it. And once I have finished chewing on this world, I let the next generation deal with it and find my own little vana that I seclude myself to. Vanaprastha, to be established in the forest. Meaning, forest is some place that we are able to get away from the city life. The hullabaloo, the dynamics, the active dynamism in regular city life. When you go into a forest, it's a sense of seclusion. Everything calms down. It's that bhava that we're going to be creating in Vanaprastha ashram. Because if you literally ran away to the forest, cops might come after you and be like, hey, why are you homeless here? That's not the sense. Within my own home, when I have come to the Vanaprastha stage, I will find my own sanctuary within that small piece of my home. Even if we look back in our own homes in previous generations, we see grandparents that live within that household. They have a tendency that it's natural to them. Leave me alone. Couch, one room, just leave me that and I'm happy. You worry about the rest of your household. You take care of it. So one comment I think I wanted to talk about, pick up from last class is, what happens with the relationship with the rest of the family? I have matured and grown. I'm not necessarily physically leaving that home. Mentally, I've matured out of it. Then what should be my relationship with my children and my grandchildren? They're not completely gone. So the advice here that is being given actually comes from the graduation speech at when someone graduates Brahmacharya ashram. There's a chapter in Taittiriya Upanishad, which is a graduation speech. Graduation because they're now entering grahastha. Ooh, okay. They're having too much fun in there. So when in that graduation, the advice that's given, the commencement speech, gives advice for the grahasthas. One piece of advice that's given is, whenever you find trouble or clarity in applying what is a right thing or wrong thing to do, when there's confusion, seek the advice of the wise. So in this context, Vanaprasthis who have graduated in maturity in dealing with life have a lot of knowledge within them. So in that household, grahasthas take care of Vanaprasthas. Every other ashrama depends on grahastha, especially the Vanaprasthis. So grahasthas take the duty, perform their responsibility, take care of them. And what can the Vanaprasthis do for grahasthas? whenever advice is sought, may we share what our experience is and give the knowledge to help them continue their path along dharma and evolution. Again, important phrase there, when sought out. If we tried to give advice when they didn't ask for it, it goes right over there. Otherwise, there's like an animosity between the two ashramas. I didn't ask for your advice. Leave me alone. I know how to raise my kids. Yo, you don't take them to Bal Vihar. You need to take them. So we see enough of those conflicts here. But the point is that the Vanaprastha ashrama is a source of knowledge and culture and experience. Grihasthas have every right to reach out to them when the need is there, take their advice, and that's the relationship that forms between Grihastha and Vanaprastha. But one example is, what about the grandkids? You know, Mama, Papa, can you please take care of my kids for one night? We have other things to take care of. Okay, take care of them. And during that time, share stories with them, especially Puranas, Itihasas, and the stories of the Leelas of Bhagwan. Because that's the most sweet form of sharing knowledge and culture and tradition. One example, or two examples that come to my mind on the power of this connection between grandchildren and grandparents is when I think of the history of Ahalyabai Holkar and Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj. If you look at their education system, both of them learned from their previous generation purely Itihasas and Puranas. Mahabharata, Ramayana, and all of the like Vishnu Purana, Shiva Purana, Devi Purana, all of them. And it was because of that education that they had so much stability to lead a Hindu nation, a Hindu kingdom, and survive the atrocities that was happening within those thousands of years. Their source of strength came from that knowledge. That knowledge was taught to them by that previous generation. So whenever Vanaprasthis have an opportunity, may we share those stories with the next generation as a pastime. Oh, you want a bedtime story? Don't pick Teletubbies or Barney or something. Pick stories from Itihasas. Gajendra Moksha, take a simple example like that. One time there was an elephant and he was grappled with a crocodile and he pulled and you can be very theatric with it. But inbuilt into that story comes surrender to Bhagwan. How Bhagwan is our Shraddha, our faith. Little by little, those stories are designed in such a way that can be passed on well. So, the main duty of Vanaprastha is to let go of the whole host of duties that I was carrying in Grihastha Ashrama that has brought that maturity. The job is done. It did what it was supposed to do. I have attained Chitta Shuddhi, purity of mind, pure from desires. I'm ready to take on the next path. Where is that source of my motivation now? Atma Ichha. Give me the real place that will give me happiness. I'm ready to take that on. So, what was the first advice that was given, first duty of a Vanaprastha here? Sangaha Satsu Vidhiyatam. May I constantly surround myself with the company of the noble. Again, noble here doesn't mean, I am good and I serve others, not just our day-to-day meaning of the word noble. Because this is Vanaprastha ashram, noble here means those who are in pursuit of that highest knowledge. That Atma Vichara is where they're pursuing, and they have advanced along those journeys and efforts. They are the noble ones I look to because I want to get there. They are the spark. They're the inspiration that has started this fire and is helping me build. Now, to keep that fire alive and make it even stronger, there are two main sticks that we add to this fire. One is Bhagavato Bhaktihi Dridadhiyatam. First one is to Bhagwan or of Bhagwan, may I have firm, dridha, firm bhakti, may I develop that first. Bhagavato Bhaktihi Dridadhiyatam. Then the second stick that we have to develop in Vanaprastha is Shantyadif Parichiyatam. Now, as soon as you see the word Shanti or Shantyadi, you think Om Shanti Shanti, may I have peace. That's not what this word means here. This is referencing the 6 full wealth of someone who is qualified for Jnana Yoga. So I'll build on this in a little bit. Shama, Dhamma, etc. That's what Shanti Adi represents here. So let's come back to Bhagavato Bhakti Dridadhiyatam. So we saw Bhagwan has the holder of the 6 types of wealth, bhagas. Aishwarya, the sovereignty, supremacy, rulership, majestic nature, being the very laws of this universe. There's no denying the glory and magnificence of Bhagwan being this world. Every astrologer who reaches for the depths of the universe can only find Bhagwan. The doctor who marvels at the intricacies of the human systems, both seeing his sensitivities and resilience of the body, is amazing. Who else can be that which resides and holds this body together? So every scientist, when they have done in-depth study of samsara, they find Bhagwan at the end of the road. This is his sovereignty. This is his rulership and mastery over vyavahara. Virya, that valor, fearlessness, courage. Every itihasas you take up, Bhagwan Shri Krishna ji, Bhagwan Shri Ramchandra ji, any Parashuram, any form of Bhagwan that you take, they represent unfailing strength and valor. I am ready to take on any Rakshasa that comes my way. They come as a golden deer, I can conquer them. They come as a bull, I can conquer them. Whatever form of negativity, Bhagwan is there to protect us against it. Fearlessness. Yasha, fame. Who doesn't know Bhagwan? Well, you would get arguments from the kids. I keep asking, where is God? Where is God? Show me where God is. Even Swami Vivekananda ji asked his guru, show me God with clarity. And all he did was hold up his thumb. I see Bhagwan in this thumb more clearly than I see you. Meaning, when we truly seek the truth of something, he is found everywhere. Even an atheist is seeking Bhagwan in his own vocabulary. Okay, I may not believe in, an entity like Zeus or some figure of a god, but there's something greater. I don't yet have a name, but he's always sought after. That is the fame of Bhagwan. Shri, affluence, wealth, and prosperity. He is this entire world. He is the resources, even if in our ignorance we're seeking happiness through the material world. He is the material world we are seeking. So, Shri. Then finally, Jnana. He is that consciousness himself. Sat, Chit, Ananda. Here, Chit is being referenced as Jnana. As we saw in today's assembly, that Paramatma is ever present. There's no need to create Brahman or attain Brahman through action. He's already here. I've already gained him. The problem is I have an ignorance that I already have him. I'm not able to recognize what I already am. And so knowledge of the self is analogous. All throughout Gita, you'll see it is the fire of knowledge, the sword of knowledge. It is that which cuts, burns, destroys, takes away that ignorance that prevents me from seeing myself. So that is the greatest form of Bhagwan, as Jnana itself. Finally, Aishwarya, Virya, Yasha, Shri, Jnana, all of these things may be there, but ultimately he is the ultimate Vairagi. Why? Samsara can be there, it cannot be there. It could be manifest or unmanifest. Bhagwan persists anyways. This is the Sat concept. He is truth and existence. So, if such a Lord, Bhagavan, when we say Bhagavan, we think of all of the things that he's in. But if I keep that image of Bhagavan in my heart, is there anyone more glorious than this? Is there anyone more humble than this? That is the entity we're surrendering to. So if his greatness is easy to focus on, if someone great is around us, do we not gravitate towards them? Sorry, the notes had half sentences. If someone of amazing qualities in there, let's say, I don't know, think of someone famous, someone that you admire. If they happen to be here in person in front of you, wouldn't your entire focus be right there? Oh my God, I get to meet this great person. And it's like this drawing. And Bhagavan Krishna is known as someone who attracts attention. Everyone gravitates towards him. You can't not pay attention. Now, Bhagwan, who's the best of the best, the world himself, if he takes form in front of us, how can I not think of him? How can I not surrender to him? So the problem is I'm not able to see that Bhagwan, which is why I get distracted with this world. So I have to spend time now in Vanaprastha to start developing that relationship. Start developing a intuitive sight to see Bhagwan everywhere, and may my bhakti to that Bhagwan ever steadily grow. So in Ramana Maharshi's book called Upadesha Sara, we see him progress or explain the 4 different yogas: Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, and finally Jnana Yoga. Karma Yoga, hint, relates to Grihastha Ashrama. That has to be done first. After that, we are qualified for Bhakti Yoga. And there he describes how Bhakti can start off in a very tangible, gross, loud, something we can all see, starting with Shodashopachara, where we set up a physical altar, we bring in grand alankara, flowers, dupa, deepa, naivedya, and you bring in and you chant loudly. It's a full celebration. Think of Tirupati, very tangible, but it captures all of our 5 senses. I see Bhagwan, I smell Bhagwan. Even as soon as you walk into a puja store, doesn't that it hits you? There's that specific smell that we've come to associate with puja. Then naivedyam. How can your mouth not be drooling thinking about naivedyam? Kids always come to puja because of naivedyam. Then ringing of the bell for hearing. Chanting of the mantras out loud is also for hearing. So every 5 sense has been captured in puja. Slowly, when our adherence and stability in staying focused right where that altar is, slowly I'm able to make it more and more subtle and bring it a little bit more further inside. So after a puja, at the very end, we start adding the practice of japa. At first, it can be out loud, that I can hear myself. Slowly, it turns into a whisper. Eventually, it becomes a manasik japa that shows me the progression of concentration. I need less and less external support systems to keep my attention in place. Puja, I can't even get distracted. It's so loud in my face. But now that my mind has become stronger, even holding a Shiva Manasa Puja can be as grand as the pujas done in any of the Jyotirlingas. So find that equivalence in feeling of attention. Then finally, I'm able to have such control over my mind that invoking the thought of Bhagwan is enough to hold me there, so much so that I can even stay in the silence between thoughts. That's the level of grip and concentration I have. This is called as Chitta Ekagrataha. Eka. I'm able to hold on to one thought at a time. This is what happens when we have this much amount of bhakti. And to continue with the idea of Chitta Ekagrataha, Shantyadif Parichiyatam. Shanti. In one language you say Shanti, Danti, etc. I'm taking the same vocabulary from Tattva Bodha. I think I have the book here. If you are interested, this is a book of definitions. This comes up literally within the first couple of pages. It says, Shama, Dhamma, Uparati, Titiksha, Shraddha, and Samadhana. These are the 6. And I'll go through them one by one again. These 6 become the wealth of a student who's entering Jnana Yoga. So again, I have to come back to Upadesha Sara. Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga. That Bhakti Yoga, Ashtanga, I'm kind of putting it together. There's some nuances, but I'm not going to get into it. But that leads into Jnana Yoga. What is that wealth that I need to carry? It's like a tool belt. Anytime I go hiking, I carry a backpack with the things I need. In this mountain I'm about to climb called Jnana Yoga, what is the wealth I have to rely on that I carry with me? Shama and Dhamma. Shama means that I am able to control my, the other way around. Dhamma, I'll start with Dhamma first. Dhamma is to control my senses. If I tell my mind, stop watching TV, I can actually shut off the TV and stop looking at that content. If I am constantly addicted to a certain taste, stop eating sweets. I can control my senses and it will stop. But how long can we do that? If we those are organs of senses. Eyesight is to consume the sight data. Tongue is to taste the tasting data. It also works in the organs of actions. There are 5 of them. Gachati, Vak, and Hasta, like all of them count as organs of actions. So let's take, for example, the power of speech. Do I have that tongue under control? Oh, then my husband or my children piss me off. I just want to shout at them. Can I control my tongue? I tell it, no. I know you're angry. Don't say anything because you're only going to cause trouble. Until I'm better under control, don't say anything. Do I have that kind of control? If I can, I have the wealth of Dhamma. But what happens in our mind? I stop my tongue. Inside, no, the dialogue keeps going in our head. I'm still pissed off. So here, this is when Shama comes into play. This is the control of the mind. So if we look at the BMI chart, you see, mind feels emotions. MFE. Then you have intellect. The intellect thinks thoughts. So honestly, mind and intellect, it's the same thing in our head, but it's just whatever state it's in. Usually, if I don't have Shama, my emotions override any decisions I make. Even in the midst of anger, I can't even think straight. I can't sort out what the right thing is to do, and I will just let go if I really don't have any control. Emotions override the intellect. But the intellect is the one that is supposed to be educated, objective, and can dictate what is the appropriate thought and action I'm supposed to have. So the intellect should be in command over the emotions. Best example I think of is a guru who uses anger as a tool. When a shishya is doing something wrong, they will scold, they will, how dare you do this? Who do you think you are? The anger is being shown, but is the guru actually feeling anger? They know how to express that anger to correct the student to be in the right place, but they've never lost control on the inside. Shama and Dhamma are completely in their control. They've never lost it. So this is what it means to have control over the senses and control over the mind. These are like 2 dogs on a leash. You have to keep them under control. They initially are not trained, so they'll be running around, jumping, barking, all of that, and you have to really put in effort to get them to sit. But eventually, when the dogs get trained well, you will see that they naturally sit quiet. The leash is still on it, because you never know when it can go out of control, but the habit now is the dog can stay quiet. The mind and the intellect are like these dogs, where once Shama and Dhamma have been very well developed, Uparati becomes the natural state. Uparati we often describe as withdrawn. Okay, I will not engage with my sight. I will not engage with my emotions. I am a complete stone. That's not what withdrawal is about here. Here, it means that the mind and the senses are in such control that their default state is to be calm and quiet. This is what they're like naturally. Then Uparati means this is the natural state. When a command is given, it's able to be deployed as and when is needed. Once that job is done, it comes back and stays at rest. This is the culmination of Shama and Dhamma. One time there's an analogy where the mind is like a monkey, right? It constantly wants to be jumping around, doing all sorts of things, constantly having thoughts. When it has a job, great, that energy, go apply it, go do something with it. When it doesn't have a job, that monkey will cause havoc. So the monkey once was told, you see that pole? Your job, until I tell you otherwise, your job is to go up and down this pole and keep going. Once I tell you to go do a job, go do the job and then come back to this pole and keep going up and down. This is an analogy. That pole is japa. If you have something to do, apply your mind fully to that job, put your mind where your hands are, and do the work well. Once the job is complete, finish. then come back to japa and let the mind keep occupying itself with that practice of japa. It helps control the mind. But eventually, with enough practice, that monkey will sit still. It doesn't need the pull anymore. It will say, you tell me when to go, otherwise I'm right here. Uparati, rest. Then, because of this state, whatever life experience I go through, whether it's good or bad, harmful, not harmful, comfortable, if it's whatever that experience may be, I develop titiksha as a natural state. Titiksha often is translated as forbearance. And when I hear the words, I have to bear with it, I have to grip my way through it, have endurance and push my way through it. But that's not the bhava behind titiksha. If I have a mind and senses under such control that it stays at rest, then whatever experience comes to me, I can actually bear with it with patience and, Puja Gurudev says, with a smile on my face. Titiksha means I can wait as long as it takes. I know exactly where I am. I know exactly where I have to be, and I have all the time in the world to bear with this. It's a less gritty version of the word I heard, right? So in this case, I'm not bothered. If it's here, it's here. If it's not here, it's not here. I know where I have to be. I'm willing to bear with it, with a smile. So next time we're getting impatient with our kids, or I don't like this, therefore I need this to change, or this is not the right thing. Why are people always causing a problem? This is not right. I need this to change. Patience, patience. It's okay. Things are not okay, but it's okay for me to wait and bear through it because it will change eventually. Bhagwan knows what's happening. He's the law of karma. He'll sort things out. There's nothing for me to do. I just have to make sure I never lose control of myself no matter what that situation is. This is titiksha. I'll bear with it with a smile. Finally, this stability comes from shraddha. Shraddha, faith, more like trust. I have trust in the shastras. I have trust in the gurus that I'm following their experience, and I have trust in the formula of reaching Paramatma. My confidence in what they have is to such a great extent that I'm never shaken from this path. Often when we start trudging along and we start encountering problems, we sometimes start doubting ourselves. Is this what I was supposed to be doing? Is this actually right? Then suddenly we're shaken and our confidence in doing what we were supposed to becomes weak. So shraddha here is a very important element. I think of it like a recipe. I don't know why I've noticed that I have a lot of food analogies, so just bear with me. Recipes. If I'm not a great cook, what will I do? And there's this one dish I want to make. What will I do? Not just YouTube, I will go find the person who actually knows how to make it. So my mom is a good source, my grandparents are a good source, neighbors that are really good cooks. I know they're good. Therefore, I come to trust them, and I come to trust the recipe they give me. Then I have the shraddha to know I have to follow it well. I can't get creative and change the ingredients and quantities and saying, well, it's okay, it's just advice. No, I have shraddha because I know the person I'm getting it from, and I know that what they're giving me is something to trust. Now, in application and practice of that recipe, I may mess up. So a bad dish is not the fault of the recipe nor the person. It's my inexperience in applying that recipe in my own skill set. So just because we make mistakes and struggle with our sadhanas along the way is not to blame Hinduism or the gurus that give us the techniques. I am struggling with my own inadequacies. I have to work on it. My shraddha is Guru and Shastras and Bhagwan is giving me what I need. That shraddha won't create insecurities or doubts when walking along this path. We can't afford to be shaken when we're taking such subtle steps for the highest. Finally, putting all of this together, samadhana is that mental concentration and focus. This becomes controlling the senses, controlling the mind, having it naturally be in a calm, steady state, being able to bear with whatever variations life throws at me, and having full confidence of where I'm going and what I should be doing. All of this sums up as samadhana. This is that mental concentration. This is the expression of chitta ekagrataha. Chitta means that intellect. Eka means one. Grata, I can hold on to, that mind can hold on to that one thing. Concentration. This becomes the culmination of vanaprastha. So vanaprastha, I've let go of my duties because Atma Ichcha has become so strong. I keep that spark of inspiration by associating with those that are pursuing the path of Atma Vichara. Then I fuel my bhakti towards Bhagavan and amplify my mind with the sixfold wealth. All of this put together brings me with such a sharp mind that it's capable of transcending even this world and reaching the highest. So, Vanaprastha is not retirement. Vanaprastha is not, I've gained all this luxury, I can enjoy myself for the rest of my life. In fact, things get harder in Vanaprastha. So, side note, the smaller and simpler the instructions, the harder it actually is to practice. That's the biggest giveaway in the Shastras. So, Grahastha Ashrama had lots of instructions. Vanaprastha has only 3. And Brahmacharya has only 1. Studying Vedas is very hard. So, the culmination of Vanaprastha is Chitta Ekagrataha. Now, Dridataram Karmashu Santyajyatam. This is the beginning of Sannyasi Ashram. Here, in Vanaprastha, we still hold on to the remnants of some karma that we have performed in Grahastha Ashrama. So for example, Brahmanas will still wear their shikha because it is the attachment to the Guru. They will also wear the Yajnopavita. And in Grahastha, we have married the spouse so that only a husband and wife are qualified to perform the karma yagas that is prescribed. That's why we need to get married. It is for those purposes that that relationship is made. So that continues up until Vanaprastha. Sannyasi is when we renounce it all. I am done. I have managed my desires. I have become chitta shuddhi. I now have perfect control over my equipment, chitta ekagrataha. Now I'm ready to do the last sets of sadhana of transcending this very identity called BMI. Who am I? If I am not this ego, then what value does my attachments and construct of the world around me have? I'm trying to drop the last sheds of my delusory identities. So, Dridataram Karmashu Santyajyatam. So, after this is when we see that the very first, after having dropped these karmas, what do I actually take up? What do I do in sannyasa yoga or sannyasa ashram? The very first instruction is Sadvidvan Upasevyatam. Satvidvan Upasevyatam. So in this case, Vidvan is someone who has Vidvan, that same construct as Bhagavan. This is Vidvan. Someone who has knowledge. Knowledge of what? Sat. Sat Vidvan, those who are the knowers of Brahman. So there's a distinction between Sangaha Satsu, those in company of those that are in pursuit of Atma. Here, Sat Vidvan is someone who knows Brahman as their own true experience. Now we've graduated to seeking out those who are realized masters. They have already attained that Brahmanhood that has been promised. They then become my gurus. This is now sannyasa ashram, where I'm now in that pursuit. May I offer my seva to them. Interestingly, they don't say, go start having classes with that guru. There's no instructions even happening yet. That will come down the road. First step is upasevyatam. Sometimes we think, okay, when it comes to this level of guru shishya, I need to go guru shopping. I want, this guru doesn't match me. That guru is a little bit too tough. No thanks. I need someone who can sugarcoat things. at this point, we're not shopping for gurus. In fact, all we have to do is yearn for that highest knowledge, and Bhagavan will come running to us in the form of a guru. Now, this is the same bhava as Gajendra Moksha. I know I took that example earlier, but let's really study that. That Gajendra thought he could fight off that crocodile on his own. He's a strong guy. He's the king of all the Gajas. And he is from Swarga himself. He said, what is this crocodile? I can conquer him. And he struggled. For a good portion, he put in self-effort, struggling. But at one point, he realized that, by the way, that crocodile represents the attachment to the ego, the individuality. Someone who's come to this point, trying to struggle in letting go of this identity. I am not this body, mind, and intellect. It's a constant fight. At this point, Gajendra said, I surrender. I can't do this alone. This is not through my own imagination, my own self-effort that I can conquer my own ego. I can't do this by myself. Bhagwan, you are the only one that can save me. I surrender. It is in that moment that is said that Bhagwan Vishnu even discarded Garuda and came flying to Gajendra. Garuda is known as one of the fastest vahanas. Why? Because it travels faster than the speed of thought. Faster than the speed of thought. Bhagwan said, that's not even fast enough for someone who has truly surrendered like Gajendra. You're too slow. I need to go find my Gajendra. That's the kind of yearning. If we truly, sincerely have it within our hearts, Bhagwan will come rushing to us in the form of a guru. Guru will find us. Now, one of the most special things I have to say is, we don't have to wait. We already have someone who has come in the form of a guru being part of this mission. Puja Gurudev is that guru who has his own personal experience as that Paramatma, and in his graciousness has come down from the Himalayas and have given this knowledge without us even needing to ask for it. This is the grandness and compassion of the guru. And being in mission in the later generations now, sometimes I regret, why wasn't I born at least 20 years earlier? I would have maybe had the chance to meet Puja Gurudev. What would that have been like? Sometimes that creeps up every now and then. But I always remember that Puja Gurudev had left a quote saying, if you want to find me through my words. So his books and all that he has produced is my way of connecting to him. He is that guru that has come. And I am glad that at least he was around when TV was around, because there's so many videos of Puja Gurudev. This is a rare occurrence. I actually get to hear him in the way he used to speak. See, so every time there's a concept, I'm constantly YouTubing Karma Yoga, Chinmayananda, and like looking for these videos just to hear what he would say about all of this. And his grace and teachings is already here. So I will have the pride to say, we already have our guru. We've already all sought out for it, and we're all here. That yearning has already been heard. Puja Gurudev has come to us in that form. Now, it says here, every day, sevyatam, that too, do the seva of the Guru's padukas. This is another very interesting imagery and tradition we have. Padukas, the sand, not even the feet, the sandals on which a guru stands is worthy of being worshipped. If we think about our own slippers, where do we leave them? Outside. Why? Dirty, mucky, it's tracked all this like other yuckiness, so we leave it outside. A guru's yuckiness is worthy of worship. That's the bhava that's there. Shri Guru Charana Saroja Raja Nijamana Mukura Sudhari. The very dust on the feet are sandals of Guru. And this is Tulsidas ji recognizing Bhagwan Hanumanji as the Guru. Even that dust is worthy of cleansing the mirror of my mind. This is the kind of seva and surrender that we bring to a Guru. And the most important here, sevyatam. We're not even demanding the Guru to teach me, even if they are compassionate. First thing is, Guru, how can I serve you? The most important step about seva is it gives an opportunity for the Shishya and the Guru to become in tune with each other. Guru has no compunction, there's no reason why, nothing he can gain out of teaching us. We have all to gain by surrendering to the Guru. It is his compassion. But in that, he will look at us and understand what is it that is our natural tendencies. What is our weaknesses? Where is our problem? Where is the obstacles within our own personality? He's the one that comes to understand what we need. Guru knows us better than ourselves. The Shishya also develops that surety of mind to be in tune with the Guru. The best state or achievement of a Shishya is when the Guru doesn't even have to say anything. Even that kataksha drishti, that little look in that eye, the Shishya will know exactly what that Guru meant. That's the level of connection between a Shishya and a Guru, because unless that bridge is built, nothing can be passed through. So it is a very special relationship, unlike any others, when it comes to Guru and Shishya. Now, next time, I will bring up the example of Adi Shankaracharya ji and his Shishyas. They're very special stories that I love. And how each one he dealt with very differently because of that alignment and understanding between the Guru and Shishya. All four of them are very different. I'll bring that up next time. Just to lighten the mood a little bit and to see a fun way, the relationship between a Guru and a Shishya, I thought of taking up the movie Kung Fu Panda. Now, before we end the live stream, because we noticed that YouTube copyrights and cuts the live stream, so I have to be careful about that. I wanted to give the comments before we end it, and then in here we will see the video itself. Po is the student, and he's a panda. So he's known for laziness, being addicted to dumplings, but he has the most earnest, sincere effort saying, I want to become a dragon master. I want to become a kung fu master. So he, in his enthusiasm, runs to the ceremony, and Oogway is the turtle. He represents a realized master. He identifies Po as being the dragon master before anything has even happened. Everybody is shocked, saying, are you crazy? This lazy panda is going to be the dragon master? He says, what a strange world. We'll see these scenes. Then the raccoon guru, I'm forgetting his name. Starts with an S, but anyways. He's an interesting character. He's a mix between a guru and a shishya. He's a shishya of Shifu. Thank you. Shifu, Master Shifu is an interesting combination. He's a guru and a shishya at the same time. So in this case, let me just, we'll hold that in limbo. There's a whole other analysis we can do on that. But Shifu has to figure out how to teach Po, and that synchronicity between a guru and shishya is what we will see. And there's one scene in this movie, I cry every time I see it, so I'll try to control myself. But there are certain lines that Po says that shows the sincerity of a student when we surrender. So with that, let's go ahead and play the video. I may tell you to skip a video because I'm keeping track of time.